The Old Jenkins Farmhouse. Before I share this tale, let me preface by saying, what I'm about to recount is entirely true. It happened to me a few summers ago and still haunts my dreams. The very memory of it sends shivers down my spine, but here, by this campfire, I think I'm ready to share it. I was about 20 and had taken up a temporary job as a house sitter. One summer I was assigned to the Old Jenkins Farmhouse, about an hour away from the town I lived in. The place had a notorious reputation for being haunted, but being a skeptic, I dismissed the rumors. The farmhouse was old, sprawling, and stood isolated in the middle of nowhere. Creaky floorboards, ancient wallpaper, and antique furniture filled the rooms. On my first night, as I explored, I came across a locked door at the end of the hallway. I assumed it was just an old storage room and ignored it. Late that evening, as I settled in, I began to hear whispers. They were low and indistinct, so I assumed it was just the wind. But then came the thumping, rhythmic and persistent. It sounded as if it was coming from behind the locked door. Mustering up courage, I approached the door and pressed my ear against it. The thumping grew louder, almost as if someone or something inside was trying to get out. I quickly retreated to the living room, convincing myself it was all in my imagination. The next morning, while collecting mail, I met Mrs. Clark, an elderly neighbor. We got to talking, and I casually mentioned the locked room. Her face turned pale. "Never go into that room," she warned. "That's where old Mr. Jenkins's tragedy unfolded. He went mad, locked his family inside, and left them to starve. Some nights you can still hear their desperate cries." I laughed it off, thinking it was just a rural legend. But as the days went by, the sounds grew more distinct. Whispers turned to desperate cries, thumping became banging. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to unlock the door. Using a crowbar, I managed to pry the door open. Inside, it was pitch black. As I stepped in, a cold wind blew out the candles I was holding. In the brief flash before darkness, I saw it. A sight that I'll never forget. There, against the far wall, were markings. Tiny handprints and scribbles that seemed to depict stick figures. It looked like the desperate art of children who had been trapped there. I bolted out and locked the door. Sleep eluded me that night. The cries became louder, almost as if they were right beside my bed. The next day, determined to debunk this ghostly mystery, I set up cameras inside the room. The night passed with the usual chorus of whispers, cries, and thumping. In the morning, when I reviewed the footage, I froze in horror. Around 2 a.m., the camera caught the door creaking open on its own. Out floated a translucent figure of a young girl, followed by what seemed to be her younger brother. They roamed around the house and then stood right outside my bedroom, peering in with hollow eyes. The timestamp showed they stood there for hours, just watching me. Panicked, I packed my bags and left the farmhouse. I reported my experience to the agency, and soon after, the house was declared off limits. A paranormal team later confirmed the presence of restless spirits. The farmhouse was eventually torn down, but to this day, I'm haunted by the image of those ghostly children watching me sleep. I never doubted the supernatural after that summer, and I share this story as a warning. Some places, some doors, are better left untouched. Believe what you will, but remember, there are things beyond our understanding. And the next time you hear whispers or thumps in the night, just pray you're not near the Old Jenkins Farmhouse or any place quite like it.